Hey, this is Stop Stressing and Start Living with me, Dennis Crosby, and this is part 3 of the series I'm calling The Climb. And it's all about lessons that I learned while climbing 2,000 feet of stairs the other day. And the first episode, I talked about the idea of pace, and that the pace you go through life ultimately doesn't matter. The second episode, I talked about perception, and that perception isn't always reality. Today I want to talk about something going completely the opposite direction. And it's about suffering and enjoying suffering. Now, at the end of the climb, after we caught our breath and recovered to a little bit, there was a descent. And that descent was about 4.5 miles back down. And during it, we were all feeling great. We were feeling invincible. Endorphins were going after that strenuous exercise. And we were just kind of racing down. And as we got lower, we basically ended up going back through the clouds. And the temperature probably dropped from about 30 degrees down to like 10 degrees while we were going down. And I have a circulation issue, which I think is a circulation issue, where my extremities, particularly my hands and feet, get very cold disproportionately to the rest of my body, to the point where it gets very numb and painful and all these kind of things. And I didn't bring gloves on this climb. So after about 2 minutes of being in the clouds going down, my hands started really hurting. And I sat there and my first instinct was to kind of like bitch and moan and show pity on myself and be like, alright, just hang in there, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. But instead, since I've been through this experience enough, I've taken cold showers, I just have forced myself to be in cold with little clothing to a point where like I built up a level of comfortability with this. For the first time, I was sitting there, I was like, you know what? I've been through this. I know this sucks. I know it's going to be painful. But I also know I'm not going to die. And at the end of this, my body will return to normal. And I won't even remember what this feels like. So instead, how about I just enjoy this process of suffering, of pain? How about I just see what this feels like, really connect with this experience to the point where like I was moving my fingers like, they don't move as fast. Seeing like, oh, they're turning red now. Oh, I have this prickly feeling now. And then other times I would just completely ignore it and go back to talking with my friends. Because I realized I didn't have to let that experience define my experience, if that makes sense. So I simply decided that I'm going through this situation one way or another. I have no way out of it. There's no easy out. So just go through it. Just go through it and find a way to enjoy it as much as you can. And at the end, you'll be back to normal. And it'll be a distant memory. And this is something that I want to apply to more areas of my life, because we all go through times where shit just sucks, where things suck and there's no easy way out of it. We just have to endure it. We just have to go through it. The idea of time healing all wounds, like that time between the wound opening and the wound closing, we just have to go through it. And I guess the big takeaway here is that we don't have to go through it in a way where we just feel like shit the whole time. Or even if we feel like shit the whole time, we don't have to connect with that experience. It's the idea, they call it the watcher, the sea of consciousness, a lot of different names for it. But you're taking a step back, you're detaching, you're disassociating yourself with that experience. So let's take the experience of pain or suffering or loss. Like, you may be experiencing it, but you don't have to experience it as in you're inside of it, like it's all around you. You can take a step back and just kind of watch yourself having the experience. And that's a very deep topic. It's kind of the center of like Zen and Buddhism and Taoism and all that. And it takes a lot of time and meditation and perspective and all that to get to that point. So I guess the big thing I just want you to take away is just when you're going through a shitty time, try to find something to enjoy about it. Anything to enjoy about it other than just being consumed with the idea that you're going through a shitty time. Or at the very least, distract yourself from it. Because that works too. That's another way of disassociating from what you're going through. Alright, so that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you spending your time with me. I know time is our most valuable resource, the one thing we can't buy any more of. So the fact that you spend it with me makes me want to holla. Alright, I'll talk to you next time.